So let's go ahead and hit the.
Don't hang up that phone. We've found what you're looking for. Welcome to the Let's Talk Cabling Podcast with Chuck Bowser, RCDD. Well, seeing how we're pulling Category 6A, the most powerful twisted pair in the world, you got to ask yourself this one question. Did I pull 295 or 300 feet? Well, do you feel lucky? Do you, punk? What exactly does RCDD stand for? Registered Communications Distribution Designer. Just the expert you need to ensure your cable plant performs exactly as designed. The elite professional, knowledgeable, and experienced in leading-edge ICT design principles. Now, send the new guy to the truck for a bucket of dial tone and the cable stretchers, while you listen to an informative program on telecommunications.
Welcome to After Hours Live. Ask Chuck Bowser, RCDD. You know, it's got to be 6 o'clock. It's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Somewhere, Chuck is in the house. You know, we didn't do a show last week because it was the Bixie Conference. So I went to the Bixie Conference. So there was no show last week. Some things before we do the normal stuff. Number one, make sure you check out BS with Todd. Chuck's going to be on there. We're going to be talking the After Hours Bixie conversation. Also, make sure that you check out on February 15th, AEM is doing a webinar called Powering Smart Buildings and Assuring Infrastructure Readiness. That is going to be a good one. So I see Teresa is in the house. Hello, Teresa. And isn't that a coincidence? I was just talking about Steve's show coming up. And look who shows up in the chat thing. I'm going to be on there. I can't wait for that show, Mr. Steve. That's going to be a fun show. Teresa, did you get your stickers yet? Let me know, because I haven't seen or heard anything. So I do have stickers. Then, I know what we're missing. We're missing what are you drinking? Because we start every After Hours live session with what are you drinking? Right? This is an after hour show, so live beverages are allowed. So you can be drinking. Got 19 people on TikTok and about 12 or 13 on my other platforms. So tonight, Chuck is drinking water. Water. So tell us in the chat box, what are you drinking? How'd I know? Shotzi is in the house, and Shotzi's drinking a Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper, 2 liter, right? So, so I'm going to have to come back to you, Mike. That's a good point. Remind me when we get there. So I've got people talking to me on TikTok at the same time. Steve says he's drinking water. That's probably a good thing for Steve. And Teresa's also drinking water. So look, I'm not the only one drinking water today, right? Tricky Warrior says a gallon jug of sweet tea. You know, I live in Florida, and I go to restaurants, and I was in one just last week, and they asked me what I wanted to drink, and I said sweet tea, and they go, oh, we don't have sweet tea, but we can give you some sugar. That's not sweet tea, okay? The sugar doesn't melt. If you don't have sweet tea, you don't have sweet tea. Yeesh, people. Yeesh. Alrighty. So we already did what are you drinking, right? So that's already taken care of. What's the next thing that Chuck always does? What is it? I can't remember. Let's see if I can remember this now. Oh yeah, the After Hours acronym challenge. The acronym for today is QR. QR is the acronym. Do you know what QR means? If you do, put the answer in the chat box. Now I specifically picked this QR, this one today because for a couple reasons. Number one, Todd Morris from Brother Solution Systems said he was going to be on the show tonight, and I'm in my QR challenge this week is in the chapter 10 of the TDMM, which is Telecommunications Administration. So it worked perfect. Right? No, QR, not QA, QR. What does the acronym QR mean? Now, you know, I always when I do my acronym challenges, if for those on TikTok who don't know me, look me up on LinkedIn. I do an acronym challenge every weekday morning at 8:10, Monday through Friday. I do them on Saturdays, but I schedule the posts. And then on Saturday, I do the answers to all the QR challenges, all the acronym challenges for the week. So what does QR stand for? So Mike And TikTok got it. Let me check the chat box in the other ones. No, it's not quote request. It stands for quick response. Quick response code. So Mike on TikTok, you win 10,000 points. 10,000 points. They expire at the end of the show and they're worth nothing. They're just for bragging rights. Sorry, just the way that it is. Alrighty, so let's get on with the show. And now, because Mike on TikTok wanted me to say something real quick, and I want to point this out. So Mike says, let me find his comment. He says, please tell people to stop using cat wire from Amazon, eBay. Stay away from copper-clad fake sales. Mike's a smart guy. I did do an episode on which is better, category rated cable from the big box store, like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, versus the category cable that you can buy from distribution. Make sure you check out that one. Mr. Steve Cowles, who's in the room today, was actually part of that show. So yeah, you want to stay away from that fun stuff, right? So here is the first question. Now, I always got to put on my PPE so the words don't jump off the page and injure my eyes, right? So here we go. Here's the first question. The first question is from, I forgot to put it up. I forgot I totally did these. There it is. So, and Mike also has something to say about this as well. So his question is, Mike from TikTok, he says, do they make a repellent for aerial outside plant cable to deter squirrels? Now, I'd never heard of that before. I've said it many times. I'm not a big outside plant person. I have done outside plant cabling, but I'm nowhere near what I would consider an expert, right? Oh, thank you. Mr. Steve reminded me. Don't forget, we have enough acronyms. Spay or neuter your acronyms. We don't need any more. Thank you, Mr. Steve. I appreciate that. Right? So here's the thing. So I reached out to two different manufacturers, and I asked them, do you, because I've always heard that they use almond oil or soy in the jacket to deter squirrels from eating outside plant fiber, right? Especially the aerial stuff. So I never heard somebody putting lube on an outside plant cable to deter squirrels. So I reached out to manufacturers, and both of them said, no, we don't put any of that in there. If you want protection from squirrels, you want to buy the armored aerial cabling, just like Teresa pointed out here just a second ago, right? Aerial cabling. Now, the problem with doing armored aerial cabling is you're adding weight to your aerial cable plant. That's going to put extra stress on your support systems and stuff. So you know what I did? I've got my expert counsel. And one of my people in my expert council is Phil Klingensmith. If you've been in this industry for longer than a few days, you probably heard of his name because he helped write the OSP manual. So I shot him a message and I said, Phil, is there a lubricant that you can put on outside plant aerial cable to deter squirrels? And his answer surprised me. He said, yes, there is. He couldn't remember the name of it. He said it came in a green can and it was made by a company called AB Chance. And he says, yes, they had that. But I did some more research because I wasn't just happy with that. I did find that AFL, and I'm sure there are others, but AFL does at least, right? AFL, they use a bitter agent in their cable jacket to help deter squirrels from chewing through the thing. Now, I went all through their Facebook page and their web page to try to find out what it is that they use in a deterrent. I couldn't find that. Now, of course, when I posted this on TikTok today, everybody's saying cayenne pepper, you can use rodent killer and all that other fun stuff. Okay, cayenne pepper, yeah. The other stuff, that's not wise because if you put that stuff on a cable, like rodenticide or harmful chemicals, number one, the rain's going to wash it off after a period of time, and number two, right, if it rains, all that stuff's going to be dripping on the ground, and then also cause problems with the plants and stuff. So it's not a good idea to do that. It just really, really isn't. Isn't it needed for using shielded squirrel can chew through the metal shield? Yeah, a squirrel will chew through the armor cabling. Absolutely, they will. It takes them longer. One other comment that Phil said, and I thought was kind of interesting, he said that when he used to do buried outside plant cabling, no matter what the cable they were going to put in it, They put it in a 2-inch PVC pipe, 2-inch PVC pipe. And he said the reason for that is because 2 inches was so big that they couldn't get their mouth open enough to get on the pipe to chew it. So that was even a better deterrent. So I thought that was relatively cool, right? So, okay. So I'm gonna ask a great question. I don't have the access to photos during the show. I'll see if I can't answer that towards the tail end. Okay, hopefully that'll help you. So the next question, and this one comes from Chicken Wings to Go on TikTok. Chicken Wings, where are you now? You're usually in my thing. Where are you tonight? So he asked, I got it written down. He says, how could a tech know if the project or manager or estimator missed hours or components for a project? That was his question. It all boils down to communications. A good project manager will have a kickoff meeting with their crew, and they'll have clearly defined work assignments and the amount of hours that they can use. If the project manager is really good, if there is missing hours, they would have found it before that meeting and would have already had a workaround for it. But as a technician in the field, you're most likely not going to know if there's missing hours. You can ask how many hours do you have to do that task, like how many hours do we have to pull the cable, and then you can do it. But like I said, as a project manager, you should really find what I used to do is I used to create competitions, and I had 2 or 3 crews working on several jobs, and I'd say, okay, whichever crew pulls the most cable this week, I will buy you pizza on Friday. That was worth it to me because we always got done faster than everybody else. It was absolutely worth it to me. So you need to have that good communication, that good kickoff meeting. And a good project manager will tell you the problems up front. They'll tell you if they're behind in hours. They'll tell you if they're missing something and ask for suggestions because we are all one team. Think of it this way. A project is like a bicycle, right? The project manager is the hub. The technicians are the spokes, right? And the customer is the wheels. Without all the components, it's not going anywhere. So a good project manager will actually have that all figured out. And if they're really good, they will ask for some tips and ideas from their crews, right? Another question which came in from TikTok, and this is one I liked as well. Is there an apprenticeship program for low voltage in the U.S.? Now, this particular person I happen to know is from Canada. Okay, I can't remember who sent me this question, but I remember they were from Canada because him and I've talked before. In the U.S., the only formal apprenticeship program that I'm aware of, and if you know of another one, let me know in the chat box. The only formal apprenticeship program that I'm aware of is the one that's operated by the IBEW and NECA through the Joint Apprenticeship Training Program. They have an excellent training program. I've had some of their guys on my crews, and if I remember, as a matter of fact, Teresa, are you not a instructor for JATC? If I remember right, a lot of times they use the Bixie curriculum, and it's a great program. Now there is also another program, but it's a local program to the DC area. It's IEC Chesapeake, if I remember right, and they have a apprenticeship program where they take kids in high school or right out of high school and teach them low voltage installation. So other than those 2 programs, I'm not aware of any other formal training programs for low voltage. Yes, you can go to the community college and take the classes. Yes, you can go to Bixie and take those classes and then do your OJT. But a formal training program, a formal apprenticeship program is way more structured than that. And that's why I really like that. And here's the problem with the apprenticeship program through the IBEW and NECA. The union's not strong in some areas of the country. They're strong in some areas like Philadelphia, New York, right? They're not so strong in some of the other areas. So they might have a joint apprenticeship program through the JATC, but it may not be the same quality as the ones in the more metropolitan areas. Again, I don't know that for a fact, but I've seen the results of the crews from each of those 2 areas, and I can tell you there is a difference. So in order to go through the apprenticeship program through the IBEW or the Joint Apprenticeship Training Program, you have to be a union member. Okay, I don't think you can go through it with not being a union member. So there you go. All righty, let's go to the next question. And this one, kind of just a general career one, right? Hold on. I'm already on the next page of my notes. Look at that. And this one came from LinkedIn, and it said, Chuck, my company wants to relocate me, and they want to give me a relocation bonus. What advice would you have to make sure that I don't get, thrown to the wolves? He didn't say thrown to the wolves. He said something else, but I'm not going to say what he said because this is a family-friendly show. My first bit of advice, have a lawyer look it over. I am not a lawyer. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Select last night. I can't pretend to be a lawyer. Have a lawyer look over it. Make sure that everything is legal within your state or the state that you're going to or the state that your company resides in. Because sometimes the company state resides in a different state from what you might actually be working in. So get in touch with a lawyer. Now, most companies, when they put out a relocation bonus, they're going to make you sign a 2-year commitment to them. 2-year commitment. So that way they can recoup those costs, right? Now it might be just a solid straight out 2-1, or it might even be this escaped right out of my head. Brain fart. I hate when that happens. It'll come back to me. So, that's what happens when you get old. Things just go right out of your head. So make sure that you have the lawyer look at it, and then also they're gonna make you sign a 2-year commitment. The other one was they might have you do a prorated. So if you're there for a year, you have to pay half of it. Now here's the problem: you've signed a 2-year commitment, and they paid you this bonus to go move to this new area. Well, what happens? What happens if you go there and you find that the people there that you're working with are jerks? What happens if you go there and you find out because you didn't do your research, like Steve points out, right? Steve says, do your research on moving costs and closing costs and selling the old house, buying a new one, take into consideration of living in a new area versus the old area where you currently live. So, yeah, what happens if you go there and you find out that because you didn't do your research like Steve recommends, good advice there, Steve, and you can't afford to live there? Right? Because the cost of living. What if they're moving you from North Carolina to New York City? There's a bit of cost difference between those two. Well, now you're stuck in this 2-year commitment and you can't afford to live, right? So now you're stuck. What are your options? Well, an option that you can do, and I don't recommend this at all, walk away from it because they can pursue you legally and take you to court over that, and they can garnish your wages and just you don't want to go through that. At that point is if it's something you can't live with, you can't stick out, the best thing to do is go to your company and say, look, hey, you moved me to New York City, my salary is based on North Carolina, and Anthony Romeo put in a great link for Zillow, and I'll make sure I'm going to check that out, and I'll put that on the webpage for this when I publish it. And I can't live. Can either you give me a raise so I can afford to live here, which they should have already thought about that, and you should have done your research, right? Or B, you can say, can we negotiate a settlement for me to get out of this thing, right? So those are absolutely critical things that you need to think about. Remember, that's a big, especially if you got family. If it's just you, it's not quite such a big deal. But if you got a wife and kids, and if you own your house now, and you have to sell that house and closing costs, like Steve pointed out, I ran into this very issue myself when a former company that I used to work for wanted me to move to another state. I won't say whose state it was, because while I don't harbor any ill feelings towards that company, they shafted me. They did. They wanted me I had to sell my house in a certain amount of days. And the problem was the housing market dropped and my house was worth less than what I could sell it for. So it would have cost me $20,000 to get out of the house to be able to go to another place. So again, you really, really got to think about these things, right? So yeah, check out the cost. Good advice there. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next question. What is it? All righty. Oh, here it is. And I get these questions all the time. I really do. And so this question, it came from an Instagram user. He goes, do I know any good technicians in Miami? I know good technicians everywhere. I know good companies everywhere. But you got to be a little bit more specific to me. All right. I mean, Are you looking for a company to do some subcontracting work? Are you looking to hire somebody? You've got to give me more information. Now, the reason I put him in the show tonight is because in his message, he said, I need this ASAP. Okay. He sent it to me in a message through Instagram. Now, I'm going to be totally honest here. I'm a boomer. I'm still working my way on how to function in Instagram and Instagram messages. I'm still having problems with that. If you got a question that is critical in time nature, send me an email, chuck@letstalkcabling.com. I monitor that every single day, right? I'm not 100% good at doing messages in TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. There's one message that somebody asked me about some study materials for the TE350, and I can't find that message now, right? So, just it is what it is. Oh, Mr. Lee is in the house. Hey, that brings up a good point. So, was that Bixie? Was it last week? I don't know. This week's all running together. Still got my Bixie stuff sitting here beside me, right? Yes. And Brother P-Touch, I went to the booth because my badge wasn't done right, so I went and had them print out a label. So I had put it on my thing. So Lee asks, what are my thoughts on cable manufacturer warranty, 15 versus 20-year warranty on cable and connectivity? Do you know who I work for, Lee? Here's the thing. Warranties are a sales tool, right? So most manufacturers will give you a 15-year, a 20-year, a lifetime product performance warranty if you use their products and their cabling. And they're taking a bet on you that you can install it right, and then they will guarantee it. Now, the warranties, they vary between companies. Some will replace just the parts. Some will replace the parts and and help pay your labor to do it. And when you look at the manufacturer warranty programs and how much warranties actually get filed against those companies, they're minuscule. And a lot of times you have to be in their contractor program in order to be even qualified for those extended warranties. Right? Now, when you look at the average lifespan of a structured cable plant, it's 7 to 12 years, give or take. Depends on who you ask that question, right? Matter of fact, the cables don't go bad. What happens is new computers come out. We need faster, better cables. So the bandwidth of the cables go out of whack before the cables ever go crazy on us. So a company that I used to work for, a really large contractor in the United States, they got so tired of playing the game with the warranties, because in order to be in the program, you got to go through the training class, you got to recertify, you got to buy a certain amount of their material. So they got the company I work for same company that shafted me on the relocation move, by the way. They got tired of playing the warranty game, so they said we will issue a warranty by our own company. Now they had to get it back by the insurance company, but that contract had been around for 100 years, so they had the longevity. So they would tell customers, look, we will give you a 25-year warranty, and you can pick whatever cable you want, whatever connector solution you want, and we will give you the warranty. Okay. Now, the thing that they were missing is a lot of times the manufacturers, the cable manufacturers and the connectivity manufacturers, they get together and they maximize the performance with their system. They're matched systems. So you're going to get better performance if you use the connectivity products that they recommend. But it's still just it's a sales tool. It really, really is, because most customers, they are not going to be around 15 years when that cable plant needs to be replaced. So that's my thoughts on it, Lee. I appreciate your question there, friend. Okay, so what was the next question? So I answered that one. There's the next one that I wanted to answer. And I got to make sure I don't let that one clear over there. So this one came from Brian. He shot it to me via a message in an email, right? And he says, question for the group. So if you have thoughts on this, make sure you put it in the comments. So this is from one of his prize clients. They were quoted a cabling job for Cat 6 for the client, and he wanted to know if he was going to get Cat 6, Cat 6 Plus, or Cat 6E, since he didn't specify in his proposal. He says, can you explain the difference between those, if any, and also some real-world situations where some of these cables may work better than others? He says there's a difference between Cat 6, Cat 6E, and I think he meant Cat 6A. I don't think he meant Cat 6A, and the others. So the standard recognizes Cat 5E, Cat 6, and Cat 6A, right? And in the performance levels. What happens is the manufacturers think of it this way, and this most of the guys in the room could probably relate to this. Well, we all had our first car, right? We bought our first car, and was that car good enough the way we got it? No. We had to go out and buy a set of Kragers. We had to go put some dual exhaust on it. We had to put a Holley 4-barrel carburetor just to make it a little bit better than somebody else's Chevelle. It's the same thing with cable. So, for example, Cat 5e, that's up to 100 megahertz, right? There was a Cat 5 Little E and a Cat 5 Big E for a while. What happens is that manufacturer tweaked their cable a little bit, so they said, oh, it performs to 350 megahertz. So it's a better performing cable. Is it a better performing cable? Yeah, sure it is. And there might be some applications for it. But if you're looking at what is in the standards and what the standard says, there is no Cat 5 Little E and Cat 5 Big E. There just isn't. It is what it is. And then the next question came from Jason. And I thought, oh, you know what? It's on LinkedIn. I forgot to write down. So I'm going to have to do this one by memory. Oh, no, here it is. I'll put it in the things. Now, you may know Jason if you're on LinkedIn, because Jason is a brand spanking new RCDD. He just got his RCDD like 4 days ago. And he's one of my he was in my TDMM study group last year. So he says, what's the best way to estimate cable footages? He said, the owner learned the way that Bixby recommends. Now, Lee, maybe you can help me here. I'm not aware of any way of estimating that Bixby recommends. I don't know. You let me know if you know that. I'm not aware of any. When it comes to estimating, the best way to estimate is to have a set of scale drawings and do a walkthrough. That's the best way. Go out there, look at the site, walk through the site, see what hallways you can use, which ones you can't. And then you got your scale drawings, verify the scale drawings to the actual site conditions, make sure everything's okay. And then do your takeoffs back at the shop, measure each and every run, right? And then when you measure your run point to point, you need to add in your 10 feet for your slack loop. You need to add in for your drops, and then add in like 5% or so, maybe 10% for overages, because you will never fully utilize a 1,000-foot box of cable. There's always 50 feet, 75 feet on the end of it. And you total that up. If you have 100 boxes times 50 feet a box, that's a lot of cable wastage that you just can't use, right? So that's how you can estimate. Now, there's another way. If you get asked to estimate a project, and let's say that it's out of sight, right? A digital scale or a digital scale master is absolutely the thing to have. I've got one in my cabinets behind me. There is a way that you can do it if you don't know. You can base it on averages. Now, the industry average for run length is 150 feet for estimating purposes. When I was processing test results for my day job, my manufacturing day job, and the person who used to look at all the test results quit, and I had to look at all the test results for about a year. I'm OCD in nature. I captured all the footages. So over about 3 million drops, averaging over 3 million drops, all different kinds of environments. It came in at 147-foot average. So yeah, you can use that 150-foot average and multiply by the number of drops. Now, here's the catch, though. In your terms and conditions, you got to put in some kind of a statement. This project is based on an average run length of 150 feet because no scale prints, no site walkthrough was available. If after the project's done and all the test reports are filed, we reserve the right to come back to bill for additional cable and labor if the average is over 150. That way you protect yourself, because every estimate that goes out the door has a mistake in it. That's why it's called an estimate, right? And like I said, and Lee says he's not sure of Bixby recommending it anyways. And I didn't think so either. Now, somebody told me that Bixby was going to come out with an estimating class, so I thought maybe there was something there, but I had never heard of it. So, estimating was one of my funnest jobs that I did for many, many years. I loved estimating. So there were some other questions that were asked, but we're already at our 30 minutes. So how many instances do you know where cable warranty is being implemented for defects? Oh, Lee, that's a conversation you and I will have to have offline. It's small. It's really, really, really small. I don't know what the percentage is, but and it depends on the manufacturer. Because if you make 10 million of anything, 10 million jacks, the law of averages is going to catch up to you. Sooner or later, there's going to be a defective jack, right? When you're talking about the number of claims over a year, I would say you're probably in the single digit claims in a year by manufacturer. That's why I say it's really a sales thing. And I hope I don't get fired for saying that, right? It's really a sales thing because they're saying, well, look, we have a 25-year warranty. Well, manufacturer B will give you a lifetime product performance warranty. So they'll stand behind it even longer. Just looking at it from a contractor perspective. Now, from a consumer perspective, that gives that consumer some peace because they know, hey, if anything goes wrong, then I can have them come out and fix this. And all business relationships are, are built on trust. They're built on trust, so that helps in the long run. So there were many questions in here that I did not get to because we already hit our 30-minute mark. And so what I'll do is I'll capture those and I will put them in the Thursday night. Remember, every Thursday night, 6 p.m., TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, and somewhere else. I don't remember where it is. Make sure you check out Tech Talk with Steve, BS with Todd. And until next time, everybody, remember, knowledge is power.